Hey everyone, Danny here from Classically Trained, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. I've been asked many times on my Instagram channel, what are my top 10 favorite games of all time? And I went through the museum a couple times. I tried to pick my top 10 favorite games of all time up to now, and it's a lot harder than you guys think it is. For this list, I've really tried to keep it down to one game per franchise. You guys know that I'm really into a lot of the same games from the same types of franchises. So I tried to choose one out of those franchises that I love the most. So you won't be seeing two Sonics. You won't be seeing three different versions of Street Fighter games. I've tried to keep it down to one game per franchise if it is part of a franchise. So I tried to do that much, and like I said, this was the hardest thing I've had to do. Coming up with 10 of your top 10 favorite games of all time is just one of those things where you will try to get it when you're talking with people, but you have to be visionary and you have to go and choose out of your collection to find the right ones. And with this list, these are games that I've played constantly. Played for many hours on end, and just all-time replay value. So this question comes from Nat Knight. I just want to say thank you for sending this question in. I think you really gave me an idea for this episode, and it's going to be something fun and exciting. So let's get on with it. With number 10.
Number 10 is Octopath Traveler from Square Enix. Now this may shock a lot of people because I'm not really a fan of JRPG games, but there's just something really special about this game. And as you can see by this footage, it's like a storybook come to life. It's very beautiful, the sprites are absolutely incredible, and the really cool thing that I love about this game is you can play as 8 different characters, each with their own stories, and they do interconnect at times, but the one thing that I really love about this game too is it's very easy to get into. You're very intrigued with the story. The music is absolutely amazing, but what really brings it alive for me is the visuals. Once I saw this game and saw the way it was, I fell in love. And playing the demo guaranteed my purchase, and it is my 10th favorite game of all time.
Liana, how are you feeling?
Jack Brothers by Atlas for the Virtual Boy is one of those amazing and very rare games I own. Now this game is absolutely crazy. It's a puzzle game with a twist, and it really utilizes the Virtual Boy's 3D depth capabilities. The thing I really love about this game is that it's so much fun to play. It keeps your mind kind of guessing of where you have to go, and each room that you're in, you have to collect a set of keys, and that unlocks your platforms. And with the Virtual Boy, you can actually see all those platforms underneath you. It's just a really fun and exciting game to play, and I really love it. Like I said, it is the rarest Virtual Boy game out there. Of course, I own the Japanese copy because the American copy is a lot of money, but I am working on my way to get it. And this is my 9th favorite game of all time. I really love the Virtual Boy, as you guys know. Fragile Dreams Ruins of the Moon is another Japanese RPG game that blew my mind. It is a Wii exclusive game, and it has an incredible story. You play as a young boy who believes he's all alone in the world, that humankind has passed away and he's the last survivor. And basically the tale of this game is you meet this girl, you fall in love with her, and try to figure out what happened to humanity. And it's just a beautiful piece of anime artwork. The story is absolutely fantastic. It's definitely one game that if you do find, you should pick up. It's not the cheapest game out there, but it's by Xseed Games, and it's just an awesome Wii exclusive game that no Wii owner should be without, and is the reason why it's on this list of my favorite games of all time. Definitely one game that I never told anybody I actually really liked. It never actually came up, but I am sharing it now. It's on my list, and I hope you guys take it for yourself. Number 7 is Xenoblade Chronicles X, and this game is incredible. As you can see, it's an open world JRPG game with mechs, and it's one of the major selling points of why I purchased this game. I own the regular edition, a sealed collector's edition that's worth a pretty penny, and if you never played a Xenoblade game before, this is the one I suggest you start with first. It's just an overall better game. The story is better. Being able to run around an open world with a mech that transforms between a vehicle and a giant robot that you can fly around and kill enemies is incredible. And like most on my list, this is a Wii U exclusive, which is amazing. So if you guys still own a Wii U or are getting into it, this is a must-have game for your collection. It's one that should not be missed, and I highly suggest it. You'll have lots of fun. Next up is Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm. And yes, I do own a couple of PS4 games, but I really wish this came out for the Switch in a physical format. But this is my favorite fighting franchise of all time, and one of my favorite animes of all time. This game is fast, beautiful, cel-shaded graphics, and it's a very easy fighting game for those who are not really into fighting games to get into. But the visuals are incredible, like I said, and just really gives the anime justice. Like, it looks so perfect and will keep you engaged for hours. Especially if you've never played a Naruto game, these ones will help you understand the story, since you're basically playing the whole story of the anime. And I highly suggest that you guys won't be disappointed by it. Luigi's Mansion for the Nintendo GameCube. Now, if you're like me, this was the game you absolutely wanted on that day one purchase of your Nintendo GameCube. I purchased my GameCube on launch day, got it for Christmas, and this was the game I absolutely wanted the most. And it came in as a shocker. We received a Luigi game as a launch title, something that was so unheard of, and became one of my favorite games of all time. There is a sequel to this game for the Nintendo 3DS, which is awesome and very fun to play, but the original is absolutely better, and I really can't wait to see what they do with Part 3 when it releases on Switch later on, either at the end of this year or next. But this game is so much fun. It's a mix between platforming, puzzle solving, and extreme ghost busting that will keep you engaged for hours. It's just so much fun to play, and seeing Luigi constantly freaking out and screaming Mario every 5 seconds when you hit the A button was definitely one of the highlights of this game. Another Nintendo exclusive. The main reason to own a Sega Dreamcast, and that is Sonic Adventure, the most incredible launch title of any system. And the thing I absolutely love about this game is that it's for my favorite system of all time, the Sega Dreamcast. And it's the most unappreciated system of all time. I really wish it succeeded and won the console war and stayed with the Nintendo. But, that's in the past. We got an amazing years with Sega and some amazing games that people will remember for all time. And Sonic Adventure is one of those games. It is the best 3D Sonic game of all time. And the one thing I really love about this game is the way that the story interconnects. It's so different from what anybody has ever played. I've been a huge Sonic fan of all my life, and it was hard choosing between this and Sonic and Knuckles. But I think I did the right choice. This is the game I spent the most hours playing because I loved it so much. I played each and every one story, completed it 100%, and yeah, it's definitely a game I still replay to this day because I love it so much. Well, this right here is my childhood, people. Super Mario Bros. 3 is my favorite Super Mario Bros. Game of all time. No matter what anybody says, this is the game I'll play. And as you can see, I own the NES version and the Game Boy Advance version. I remember playing this game so many times. It's so iconic. I remember all the secrets to this day. And it's just the best game, best platforming game I've ever owned. And that's why it's in number 3. It's a masterpiece that will be recognized for years and years to come. So if you guys haven't played it, where have you been all of your life? Get out and play it right now. I think this one shocks anybody. Fire Emblem is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and has been since I played Awakening for the 3DS. But Fates is my favorite. As you can see, I own the rare sealed collector's edition of the game, and I'm so happy I have it. This game is one of my favorites for many reasons. Not only is the gameplay perfection, I absolutely love the story of both Conquest and Birthright. You get to choose between creating a female or male character, which of course is Corrin. I prefer the female Corrin. She is my favorite, as she is in Super Smash Bros. But this is just an awesome tactical strategy RPG game that is so well made, so fun to play, and is so filling of a game. You really don't feel like it's worth $50. It's definitely a game that should be priced in the hundreds for the content that you get. Not only do we have a whole bunch of awesome downloadable content for it, but the main story will keep you glued to it for hours and keep you playing for hours, which makes it my second favorite game of all time. It's just so incredible and a must-have for every owner. Number 1, Hadouken! That's right. Street Fighter 2 is my favorite game of all time. And as you guys can see right here, I own every single version of Street Fighter, including my arcade 1-up cabinet. I've never had a game that I've purchased so many versions of besides Street Fighter. Street Fighter 2 is the most iconic fighting game of all time. And without Street Fighter, we wouldn't have games like Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Dead or Alive, or any other amazing fighting games. It really defined the genre at the time. And not only did I play the most of it here at home on handheld, but I've also played it crazily at the arcades. It is still the game that I play and always go back to, even now. And without all these iconic characters from all around the world, like Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, and Vega, we would have grown up without such an iconic franchise. And I'm so happy to call this my favorite game of all time. Everything makes this game perfect. The combat, the music, just the 90s feel. And even to this day, Street Fighter is still my favorite franchise to play. And I collect everything I can from Street Fighter, from toys to games to movies. And this is one game that will keep playing on in my heart for years to come until I give my last breath.
So hopefully, guys, you enjoyed this episode of Classic Key Train, and hopefully you guys have amazing games that you absolutely love that you want to share. Let me know down in the comments what are your top 10 favorite games of all time, currently, of course. And thank you guys for watching the show, and thank you, Nat Knight, for the question. And I hope you guys had a great weekend. We are back for another week of work, but hopefully you guys had fun and you gamed a lot. Thanks again.